once was a time where I would have said Kingdom Hearts was on my top 5 most beloved games of all time. I have so many memories playing through that game in the summer of the 7th grade. I was having so much trouble defeating Ansem, and I remember calling my friend Shainu to help me finish because he was like the only other kid I knew at the time who completed the game, and we bonded over Hikaru Utada. It was just a really great time. There were so many things I adored about the first game. I thought it was an absolute masterpiece. Everything down to the character design, the tactful merging of fantasy anime and Disney. It did the same thing to my brain after watching crossover movies like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Space Jam, where they bridge the gap between multiple universes through crossover, which, I can't stress enough, is something that resonates with a lot of kids growing up with festering imaginations that enjoy role-playing. Connecting characters from different shows with friends seems unimaginable and only real in fan fictions until it's actually visualized on a TV screen, and that's really cool to see as a kid. I enjoyed Sora's relationship with Kairi and Riku and how they all started off as a couple of innocent kids with big dreams of seeing the world, with the ending of the game being a huge tear-jerking moments of uncertainty where I completely bawled my eyes out. Again, Sora's self-insertion into pre-existing timelines was a great touch because it didn't feel overly ham-fisted and corny and managed to keep a Disney charm to it. The gameplay was great, the pacing, the heartless, I could go on about it for hours. Since having not touched the game for quite some time, there's been an element to Kingdom Hearts that's continued to stay with me to this day, and that's something about the game's soundtrack. Anytime I'd hear a random tune from the game, I'd get this immediate rush of emotions like euphoria or despair. I felt this sense of closeness and familiarity, and it would immediately take me back to the memories I felt playing through the many stages of the game. And it's always been very similar to the feelings I'd get when I'd hear familiar nostalgic Disney tunes. Tons of memories would flood in just through the music alone. On top of having a decent collection of remade Disney tracks, Kingdom Hearts has its own set of unique, fully orchestrated songs made just for the game, with a tone that seems to mimic that of something you'd hear in a Disney film. It just blends together seamlessly. The music in this game had the power to take me away, and is one thing that got me really thinking about the key components of music that can supplement an already great game. Music can enrich the atmosphere through certain patterns, instruments, and musical cues, and I think composer Yoko Shimomura did a masterful job at capturing this. And since I don't want to do one of those top 5 generic videos, I'm gonna try and put a bit of a spin on this. So, with every track I go through, I'm gonna discuss whatever feelings come to mind. I'm gonna give you my raw emotions to each track, letting you know what feelings were evoked, where I visualize myself when I listen to it, and overall, how they make me feel. Because I personally think that's what good background music should do. I feel like a track is successful when the visuals given from developers accurately mirrors that of the music from the composer. We should be able to envision what we're hearing if we just close our eyes. So, without further ado, let's dive into some of the most impactful Kingdom Hearts tracks, in my opinion, of course.
Also, I'm well aware that by playing some of these songs, I might get nuked into oblivion by the sheer force that is the Disney company.
You can get killed,
But my god, if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. What does that mean? I don't know. Music is so powerful. It has the ability to unlock emotions and memories that we didn't even know we had left, still floating around in our brains. Literally list off any song from the Disney Renaissance period, and I'm sure more than a couple of songs will come to mind. Disney has always had this exceptional ability at making music that's just perfect for things like Broadway or Disney on Ice, and Yoko Shimomura had this amazing ability at mimicking this Disney sound. Songs like Dearly Beloved, for example. When I hear Dearly Beloved, the original title screen medley in the game, I feel like I'm frozen in like an innocent memory. It pulls at my heartstrings and it feels bittersweet because there's like this solemn sadness to it, and a whole lot of uncertainty. I find myself asking questions like, am I ever gonna get reunited with Riku and Kairi? I get this warm, tingling feeling in my chest and my cheeks, followed by this feeling of nostalgia, and also a little bit of homesickness too. And this song used to make me cry a lot. There's like this strong sense of like abandonment and fear when I listen to this song. Like, not only do you feel lost, but also look at the main title image. It's a foggy image of Sora standing next to a shoreline. Like, either he's about to be carried away at sea, or like he just returned from a long voyage. And depending on how far along in the game I was, this title screen would always hit me different when I turn on my PlayStation 2. For example, if I saved somewhere that was really intense, the music would act as this painful reminder at all of the things at stake. Or the memories from Destiny Island that I was ripped from, like it's some kind of dream or something. If I booted up from an area with very little chaos, like say Neverland or something, I would feel this strong sense of nostalgia. I would feel light and happy, like I was floating in my own fantasy world. Okay, let's move on. Got a little bit deep there for a second. When I listen to Traverse Town, I feel classy, I feel smart, I feel sophisticated, and I get this strong sense of mahogany. Am I the only one that thinks of a lot of mahogany, like a nice fancy wood? Like, doesn't it kind of look like Traverse Town just had a whole bunch of shoe polish rubbed all over it? It's just this nice little hub of cozy that always makes me want a nice warm beverage. In all seriousness, the Traverse Town theme is like this really wholesome, hearty, welcoming sort of song. It really does feel like a home away from homes, and that kind of makes a lot of sense considering that the world was built based on characters who were lost and stripped from their own homes. I feel like I'm inside of some old-timey tavern or something, like a really warm cottage. On the other hand, it's only actually the first district of Traverse Town that feels safe. Once you find yourself on the outskirts, you're quickly introduced to the song Night of Fate, which always used to give me a ton of anxiety. Listening to Night of Fate, I can feel my heart rate going up. This is like the first time you encounter hordes of Heartless, aside from, the very beginning. And it's such an intense contrast to the Traverse Town theme. The song just kind of creeps up on you. I feel like a lot of uncertainty and this just strange panic festering inside of me very slowly. I guess it makes me feel really vulnerable. Like, I thought this was a safe space, what the fuck? But when you peel back all of the layers of this seemingly safe haven, almost in an instant you feel susceptible to danger. I mean, just listen to the sense of urgency it creates when the tempo speeds up.
Alright, just think of this.
On a lighter note, when I hear the Monstro theme, I think of playfulness and Disney magic. Makes me feel like I'm in Mickey Mouse's house or something, I don't know. I feel like I'm just at a magic circus hanging out with my boy Dumbo. Out of all the tracks I've talked about so far, this one has to be one of the most in line with the Disney sound. So you hear this music when you're inside of the belly of Monstro the Whale, who is a character in Pinocchio. And oh my god, is this music thematic? It's kind of weird because I remember so little from the actual stage in the game. I don't know if that speaks more to like the poor design of the level, or if it speaks more to how good and atmospheric the music is. I really don't know. But I actually heard other people find this stage to be kind of bland, so maybe that's why I don't remember it. But this music, it just... it has a life of its own. Like, I feel like I'm a castaway on an adventure. It makes me feel like magic is happening and objects are coming to life, which is fitting because, it's Pinocchio. It just puts me in this good mood where I'm reminded of films like Fantasia or even video games like Epic Mickey. It's just a nice little Jake. And lastly, the Hollow Bastion theme. Like, when I hear this, I immediately feel like our journey is coming to an end. Whether it be grim, I have no idea. I also get a sense of urgency when I hear this tune, like, hurry up. the world's about to end, we're in danger. There's just a lot of bittersweet feelings, but also this sense of dread, and I can't really explain why that is. It feels like everything is leading up to this moment and everything counts. It's like, you better get this done. These Heartless don't fuck around, if you know what I'm saying. Fate of the world rests in your hands, and all that good stuff. But at the same time, the tune itself is so rich and regal, and I feel like I'm in a giant grand hall or some sort of study. I mean, Hollow Bastion is literally a castle in the sky. So the song really embodies that richness of the world itself. I mean, I can really hear that there's a chapel, that there's large falls, and I also feel a sense of power and authority. And not just that, but the tempo and note progression is also really similar to Night of Fate. It kind of comes full circle. It's like, even though you've been journeying with friends, the music sort of takes you back to a moment where you felt vulnerable, i.e. when Night of Fate was playing back in Traverse Town. All because there's still this underlying lonesomeness and feeling of unfulfillment while you're on your journey. Things are still missing.
I think one of the biggest reasons the Kingdom Hearts soundtrack has this staying power can be attributed to the hard work and dedication of composer Yoko Shimomura, who herself was hugely influenced by Disney and wanted to make sure she was doing the original songs justice through her original compositions and remasters of some classic tunes. She wanted the music to reflect different emotions like happiness and sadness, and I think she did a wonderful job at articulating that. I mean, I certainly felt a whole lot of stuff. So like, what are some songs from KH that really stuck with you? I'm curious to know. Leave your discussion in the comments below, and thanks for watching this very obscure video.